Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Fight for Liberty show live on Free Speech Media. If you're not watching this on Free Speech Media, go fix that right now by going and clicking the link tree in the description. We are on DLive, Trovo, and Facebook, so go watch this stream somewhere on Free Speech Media because that helps support not only myself, but other awesome content creators that you know and love, like Reed Coverdale, Emmanuel Torres, Bill Barger, Harrison Kemp. You know all the guys. Go over and follow us on Free Speech Media. Go watch the stream over there. And speaking of free speech, if the censorship on media has been getting you down, and you really you can't find a way to relax lately, and you live in a state like I do where cannabis is still illegal, well, I have a wonderful thing for you. We are now sponsored by the wonderful people over at Nug of Knowledge, where you can get wonderful CBD and CBG flower like so, and purchase that online, completely legal. And you also have these wonderful Delta 8 THC cartridges like so, that you can like I take a little bit of a load off when all of this divisiveness has got you down. So go over to nugofknowledge.com, use promo code UNITE to get 10% off your first order. And all of the proceeds from this is going back into the Liberty Movement. These are people like Dan, the Taxationist Theft Berman, Spike Cohen, Thomas Queter, all people that you will be happy to be supporting by doing this. And also, it's great. The Delta 8 THC carts are cheaper, better, cleaner, more potent than the stuff you get at the dispensaries anyway. So go over to Nug of Knowledge. Tonight, we have a great show for you. We have one of my actual, in real life friends who is running for vice chair of the Nevada Libertarian Party on a unity ticket to end the bullshittedness that is going on over there. Jesse Welsh, welcome to the show.
What's up, Dave? I gotta start by giving my obligatory shout out to the greatest esports team in Las Vegas, the Pirate Hackers. Amazing Mario Kart team. With that out, I do play competitive Mario Kart in my free time. But with that out of the way, let's get started.
Well, Jesse, I want you to first of all tell me, why did you become a libertarian?
Well, starting 2016, as much as I'm afraid to say it, I'm kind of ashamed looking back, but Bernie Sanders kind of started my awakening. And then
I take it.
And then he cucked to Hillary Clinton.
Right.
I knew who Gary Johnson was at the time. I did a Google search looking for candidates in case Bernie lost, because I knew I didn't want to vote for Hillary Clinton, and voting Republican wasn't exactly on the top of my radar either. And I saw Gary Johnson in January of 2016, so it was like, well, I'll probably vote for Gary Johnson, even if Bernie wins the primary.
Mm-hmm.
And to my surprise, when he got the nomination, I didn't even know it was still being disputed. I thought he just had it, because when I did a Google search, it said Gary Johnson, Libertarian Party. So I thought, oh, okay, I guess they did their convention already. Cool.
Yep.
But apparently they did it around May or June, and I just thought he was nominee the whole time.
It's hilarious. We have this thing in the Libertarian Party where no one really knows where when our convention is. Everyone complains about our convention date as if it's not the way that it is. I hear so many people complain that well, we start so late and our convention isn't until so late, and we try to enter the race so late. I hear that fucking talking point so often every general election. It's our convention is the first one. Ours is before the Republicans, Democrats, or Greens.
Hey, I mean,
all I know is
Oh, sorry. All I know is that Gary Johnson is the one that brought me into the Liberty movement fully. And
Hmm.
I was actually a New York resident back in 2016, so I got to vote for Gary Johnson and Alex Merced.
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty
Cool.
cool. And then he replaced Arvin Vorha, that fucking scumbag, as vice chair of the LP.
Hmm.
I thought that was really cool too.
So when I saw Alex Merced on my ballot, I had no idea who he was. I had never heard the name before. Um, but I am very glad to say that I was able to befriend him and get to know him over the following few years as a member of the Brooklyn Party and the Manhattan Party. And he's such a fucking cool dude. Like Alex Merced, just shout out to that guy in general. He's a powerhouse for the liberty movement for sure.
No, definitely, definitely. So moving forward a little bit,
Hmm.
I go I get off active duty in 2018. I for liberty minded people on UNLV, like the choice was either YAL or Turning Point USA. So kind of no brainer. I decided to go with YAL because it's actually a liberty organization instead of just a conservative slash libertarian organization that focuses on memes and triggering the left. YAL actually does real stuff.
What? What
Yeah,
is doing things? Why would we want to do that?
because you want to get better people elected into office. And I know I know the candidates aren't all perfect, but there are definitely improvements over their opponents and the current incumbents in their races.
Hmm.
And so I understand Yale's argument. I understand the argument against it. But I have no regrets working for OWD last year. Hell, I met you.
Right.
That's,
We met Magnus. We met uh, Justin Jackson, who's now the entire like West Coast director or
yep.
for Yale. I still think Andrew uh, is gonna be be somebody for sure in the future. I'm excited to see what Mr. Zirkle does.
He's
And
too smart. He's too smart not to.
right, I actually was just talking to Andrew last night about a possible job opportunity for him.
Oh,
So
nice.
we're getting the whole gang back together, bro.
Hey man, let's do it.
Hmm.
Okay.
So, so you're a libertarian now.
Yes, and I know you've been trying to bring me into the party for a while, and then to your surprise, you succeeded about a month ago without even realizing it.
Right? You just hit
And
me up. You're like, "Hey, I'm a libertarian now." I was like, "Yo, it's about goddamn time, motherfucker."
um, no, but out of everyone in the LP, you are the only one who's actually seen me work towards a long term goal
Hmm.
and know the amount of effort that I'm willing to put into something.
This dude got blisters on all four hands and feet, and like, I'm pretty sure on his ass by the end of this thing, still walking like 10 miles a day, knocking 150 doors.
Hey, only commies get under 100.
A fucking man, only commies. Um,
So I
commies and
uh,
old people.
so my journey in the LP has been an interesting one with many trials and tribulations.
Hmm.
Especially so the day before the Clark County Convention, which is the biggest county in Nevada, also the county with Las Vegas in it. Our Yale chapter gets invited to a barbecue dinner. I can never remember the name of the restaurant, but it was pretty good. So it's like, hey, a chance to meet some local libertarians. I thought, cool, get some cool photos for our Instagram. We
Hmm.
need to be seen doing cooler shit, and, you know. So me and my secretary go. He's actually my VP now. Shout out to Kevin.
Nice.
He actually looks like a younger version of Michael Heiss, who's the national leader of the Mises Caucus. He denies it, but everybody who's seen photo comparison says it's a match.
Hmm. Nice.
Sorry,
Nice.
Kevin. Anyway, though, our state chair eventually comes, and then they're venting their frustrations about the lack of activity from the county and the state Libertarian Party. Um,
Hmm.
uh, And they're like, hey, you guys should come to the convention tomorrow, possibly run for a position in the county XCOM. So I thought, all right, cool. So after some discussions, I run for vice chair. My state chair, Zaina, runs for secretary. I lose my first hour in the party. I lose my election by 4 votes. She gets elected unopposed.
Nice.
And here comes the bad part. Someone who I was friends with for 2 years, I saw him at the convention. He just told me like, "Hey, man, dude, don't join the Mises caucus." I'm like, dude, I don't even know like how the caucuses work. I don't know how the party works. It's my first day.
Right.
Like, I'm just trying to be. I'm just want to see the party active again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I met them like the night before. Like,
Yeah.
how is someone who just joined the party supposed to know how all the inner workings, all the caucuses, and all this stuff?
Right.
Hell, like there was one like. So I'm pretty sure most of the leadership in the Nevada LP are pragmatists, but I might have one or two of them mixed up. So for the rest of this show, I'm just going to call them the establishment because that's essentially what they are, and I'll get into that in just a little bit.
You just call them blue pills or cucks.
I don't know. Establishment is so much more appropriate, though.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I'm also a fan of blue pills or just pill poppers in general because people are stupid. But continue.
Gladly. So he makes a post on Facebook saying, "Hey, we're here for some Mises tears." Like after the election, so he voted against me because the Mises people brought me in, I'm apparently this brown shirt Mises fuck, which was a quote from another group. And then so after the convention, he says congratulations to me in like a taunting way as if I'd won when I didn't. So I kind of go off on him a little bit. He gives some really, really weak apologies, like sorry, sorry, sorry. And I told him it was pretty fucked up. Like if you're gonna vote against a friend, like give some justification. Like, hey man, it's your first day in the party. Like, I don't think you're ready for a position on XCOM. I mean, I might disagree, but I would get it. Or tell me, hey, I thought the incumbent, which fun fact, during the when she was nominated on the floor, she literally said, "I begrudgingly accept," and it was a genuine, that like she didn't really want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it kind of gave up the vibes, like, yeah, I don't really want to do this, but I'm here to stop the Mises guys from taking this office.
Yeah.
And it's kind of disheartening that I'm kind of like put in, and I didn't get any alt-righty vibes from any of those guys. I just saw they're pissed off libertarians. Maybe they're a little abrasive, but I'm a veteran, something I can't handle. Hell, Zaina, she's Middle Eastern, and they put her up for secretary.
Right.
So if you're alt-right and you're a white supremacist, you're not doing a very good job at it.
Well, yeah, the Mises caucus are the worst white supremacists I know. Like, they promote Jews, they promote Black people, they promote Middle Easterns, they promote Asian people, they promote women. They're like the worst fucking neo-Nazis I've ever seen.
I know, they're awful. My God.
So bad at it. So bad at it. Dave Smith, you're a shitty neo-Nazi. You need to step up your game.
All right, Dave, my battery's almost dead, so I gotta charge it. So I'm gonna turn my camera off. Sorry about that. 6%. That is not good. Okay.
We're gonna go to the graphic for the people watching.
Nice.
Scroll some banners.
So he brought a friend with him to the convention, who's actually a former state chair of Yale. So he makes a post. He makes a post on his Facebook group saying, "Yeah, hey, at least we beat the vice chair." I'm like, "Hey man, like I'm not a fucking brown shirt, dude. You don't fucking know me." And so we argue a little bit, but I'm really drunk and I just got on a bender that night because when I have a hard time handling losing elections because it's something I've just put a lot of emotional weight into, even if it's last minute.
Yeah.
And it's just so I basically tell my former friend to go fuck himself, and I basically just unfriended him and from everything, and just like he's no longer in my life as of right now.
Wow.
Yeah, no, like if you're gonna like sit back and watch your friend get called a Nazi and just fuck you.
Right.
I mean, like, what the fuck? That like, especially someone who I've known for 2 years, who like you know that you could have at least been like, hey, bro, Jesse is not like a brown shirt. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he runs for things for the right reasons. And I thought after 2 years of knowing me, like it, if I'm such a flawed candidate, like tell me why, so I can actually work on it, because you know, I have very personal reasons for wanting to run for offices. Like it's
Yeah.
like I'm a full time college student. I should be enjoying like school life. I should be focusing on classes. I'm in a fraternity. I should be having fun with those guys, with my brothers. I should be.
Mm-hmm.
This is my last chance to have that college experience, and I see the need to run for office because it's just something that has to be done. And if I don't do it, who will? Type thing.
Yeah.
It is
No,
so
I definitely feel you on that one. That's what when I came into the LP the first time, literally my second meeting ever, I ran and won a race for events director for the New York City Libertarian Party because no one else was doing it. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll throw some parties and do some events and like I want to do something, like anything to get the party moving, to get people involved, to help raise money, whatever it is that we can do to grow liberty, like right off the bat. And I think that like the brand new people a lot of
uh,
times are the best to do that. They're not burnt out. They're not used to the same bullshit repetitiveness that is the Libertarian Party over the last like 30, 40 years. So I actually had an interaction in private this week off of Twitter, based off of an interaction that you had on Twitter with a good friend of mine named Brianna Coyle.
oh boy.
Um, because I saw your guys' interaction and I saw what she said to you, and I wanted to reach out and just inform her that you were not the enemy, right? Like she heard that you voted straight down the Mises slate at your county convention and was under the impression that you were full blown Mises, and
Uh,
that's why you were running for that. She thought you were a Mises person, um, and so I was trying to inform her otherwise. So we had a conversation in private off of Twitter because Twitter is a cesspool.
it is.
But yeah, there are a lot of people who in the party who will just, as soon as you associate with someone, they just assume that you are completely in league with that person, right? They just assume that if you agree with someone on like three things, that you agree with them on everything, which is really hilarious because then they'll go and disagree with someone who they do agree with on like 98% of the issues, right? But
Yeah.
they'll oppose someone like you who they really, I mean, especially you, like to equate you with like some like super right winger that would want to like take over and drive out the left libertarians. Like you were a Tulsi supporter. Like get your head out of your ass. Like you're
Yeah.
not some like purge the
And,
lefties type person,
and dude, I worked with the Muslim Student Association on my campus to organize a protest against the Uyghur genocide happening in China. Like we marched on the strip.
right?
Like
Right.
I had our Yale chapter organize it, help them organize it, and we actually helped out quite a bit. And they even gave us a shout out.
Yeah.
Like, thank you so much, Yale, for helping us out. Like you don't see that. Like I want to start seeing that a lot more around the country. Like different like religious organizations, like ethnicity, like uh, ah organizations of different ethnicities, just working with like liberty groups, towards common causes.
Yeah.
And
Yes. Yes. 1000%.
okay, so did the conversation with her at least go anywhere, or does she still think I'm a Hitler
Um.
youth?
So, honestly, there, I don't, she kind. I think at this point she kind of thinks we're both Hitler Youth, but that's not.
I mean,
That is up to her to think, and
um,
up to me to dispel eventually.
well,
Which will have to happen.
well, if you're set in your ways that I'm a Hitler Youth, then just block me already. Like, don't waste my time. Like, if there's nothing I can say or do that's going to change your mind, then stop wasting my time.
Yeah,
But
I'm
moving
really hoping
on.
that. Yeah,
I'm going to explain like.
yeah. Tell me why you're running for vice chair.
I'll get to that, but I'm going to explain my voting record in the county convention first.
Oh, that's
So there
fair.
was a chair race. We had a county chair who came across as complacent and comfortable.
Yeah.
So the county party is supposed to have a social every month. The last social was November of 19. And during the convention, during the convention, this incumbent gave a half-hearted speech about wanting to start back up in June and just kind of like slowly kind of start moving again. And then the Mises candidate actually gave a very like a very good speech with like ideas of moving the party forward.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I'm gonna vote for the person who has ideas.
Yeah.
Vice chair, I voted for myself.
Naturally.
Secretary, I voted for my state chair of Yale, who's also not a Hitler Youth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no one at this convention was, and I don't believe anyone at the state convention will be either. Treasurer, I voted for a gentleman with 3 finance degrees who ran unopposed.
I dig that.
And for secretary, for at large, I voted against the state secretary for reasons I'll get into in just a little bit. Because they nominated the secretary of the state committee to run for at large for the county.
Yeah, that's kind of grody. I don't agree with that just off of principle of somebody doing too many jobs.
Yeah. See, for me, it's like you can, but like if you're running for like one of the big 2 in each in 2 different affiliates, then that's a little much. Because that then power starts to become centralized.
Yeah.
Which is a concern. So for the state convention, I'm just gonna go over the big 4 races. Because the 3 at-large races, I'm not really that familiar with. So for chair, my impression, like on the state chair, is that tweet you saw last night from the state party, like the one that got ratioed to fucking oblivion.
Yes.
That is my impression on the state chair, and the person running, like, he seems like a good candidate. Just however, he hasn't spoken out publicly condemning like that tweet, and he voted like establishment down the line at the county convention. So I have to keep my arm's length.
Fair.
So
I can understand that.
Vice chair, it's myself, a Mises candidate, and an establishment candidate. This establishment candidate is actually the husband of the vice chair of the county party.
Wait, so you mean to tell me that you are not the Mises candidate?
No, I am not the Mises candidate.
So if somebody accuses you of being part of the takeover, what is your response to that?
I mean, 2 things. One, if I was the Mises candidate, I would be on their slate. I wouldn't be running separately of a Mises person. 2, I'm generally against takeover rhetoric, but based on just the functionality of the current leadership, like if it is ever appropriate for a state convention, this is the one.
See, I gotta agree with you on that because I also hate the takeover rhetoric. But if there's something like that needs taking over, it's LP Nevada. Like, Because holy fucking
Okay.
awfulness. Like,
So
wow.
the vice chair, I haven't met the chair or vice chair, but the vice chair, my impression of him is that article I sent you a couple weeks ago about how libertarians need to shut up about everything.
Oh my God, that was just terrible. That was just oof.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Um,
Please never send me anything like that again.
I read the headline and need to take a break.
Right? It's like libertarians need to shut up about vaccine passport
And everything.
and everything.
Um,
Yeah, it's such a bad fucking article.
um,
From start to
okay.
finish.
Secretary.
Yeah.
I've met the guy twice. I like him as a person. If he messaged me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever and said, "Hey man, let's grab a beer," I'd go if I was
Yeah.
available. Like he's somebody like I would love to hang out with, and he's been involved with the party for a long time. Like on a personal level, I have respect for this guy. With that being
Yeah.
said, I posted the link to the minutes of the state LP today on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and if you open the link, you will see that minutes have not been posted since May of 19.
Yep.
So has the committee
Post your
not
fucking minutes, people. Don't run for secretary if you don't want to post minutes. Fuck off.
so
Sorry.
so
Mini rant.
has the executive committee not met for 2 years, or has the secretary just not done his job for the entire term?
Both, probably.
So from purely like functional level, like I cannot justify supporting the establishment in any sort of good faith. But going back to vice chair, um, I genuinely don't know why he's running. I can speculate. I did go up. I saw him at a meetup event, which is actually which the unofficial meetups for the county libertarians is actually hosted by one unofficially by one of the Mises organizers. Because since the county party wasn't doing it, one of the Mises organizers, shout to Charles, thank you for setting these up. He's been organizing these himself, and they've been growing a lot.
Nice.
And also shout out to Jeff, the county chair. Like his Twitter skills have made the county parties following multiply almost tenfold in just a few weeks.
Wow.
I mean,
that's what we need doing in these parties.
Yeah, like the current XCOM, they haven't actually had a meeting yet since they're only quarterly. But I look forward to seeing great things that he does as the new county chair.
Yeah, I am really annoyed by. So the very first thing I had to fight when I first joined the party in New York State, in New York City, I should say, the first thing I had to fight was a bunch of people who were really comfy as chairs and vice chairs and secretaries of these little clubs that were meaningless and did nothing. But they met once a month. They were an excuse to go to the bar and drink and complain about the government. And it was something that you could, be proud of because you had nothing else in life to be proud of. So you could go and tell your wife that you were the chairman of the Brooklyn Libertarian Party, and she still wouldn't fuck you anyway. And so it was just.
That's a very specific issue. Like, is there?
I mean, it's a comedic tool to be very specific in your jokes, right? I said Brooklyn specifically because he was my favorite chair when I joined, and he's actually still a great guy, and he's running for public advocate in New York City. His name is Devin Balkind. Y'all can go look him up and support him. He's a good guy.
For sure. See, I was just gonna throw in like, is his wife fucking a used car salesman?
Probably. He's not married because he's forever alone graphic, or he's a compute he's a nerd. He's a computer science nerd, so he's forever alone.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we've got somebody up in the comments who I'm gonna shout out because Griffin's like the best fucking dude on the planet, and he's talking about his LP being like a country club, and I definitely feel that. It's a big problem with the LP. People are really, really happy about their position, and not doing anything with it. So that was the first thing. Luckily, I came in at like the tail end of a battle over this shit in the New York City Libertarian Party. So like actually shout out to Devin who took over the Brooklyn LP just before I joined and started this. And then, we have a couple of other people in the party now that joined shortly before me or shortly after me that have really pushed it forward and pushed all these obnoxious people out. But it looks like you've got the same thing going on. Like the state party in New York is still awful. Right. So we fixed the city party, but the state party still sucks. And so it looks like you've got something similar going on in your state party.
Um,
It's just it seems
yeah,
to just be the way that things go.
it really is. And so back to my race. I mean, so last week I met the communications director of the Clark County Democrats, like at the protest preparation. We were on campus making all the signs.
Nice.
And he told me, like, I brought up my race to him. He's like, "Oh, do you know Greg, the guy, the establishment guy running for vice chair?"
Hmm.
And I was like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, he told me. Now, in hindsight, I don't know if his word is gold, because he tried pulling some shady shit at the protest at the beginning of it, but I won't get into that right now.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, he's running because he doesn't think anyone else can do it. So he said that just screams alarm bells. Like, he is running to stop the Mises guy.
Yes. These people exist to oppose.
So, and the thing is, like, and I'm gonna reach out to him and I'm gonna give him like the week before the convention, like if I get if my the group of bringing reaches a certain threshold. Right now I have 11 confirmed and I have about
Whoop,
13
whoop.
more pending.
Whip it. Whip it good.
Um,
Yeah, we gotta you gotta just bring people. And so I really do want to touch on what you just said because the people that exist to oppose other people from rising in the party and having some kind of influence, these are the people who I would kind of ranted at earlier on the show
yeah,
on a solo show.
I heard it. It made me nervous, and I wasn't even the target of it.
Hmm. Well, so there was actually so the main one of the main like I was targeting Nevada establishment a little bit. I was also targeting someone who just announced that they were going to be running against someone who currently holds a position in the Nevada LP. And this person is from the Mises caucus, but this person has had some god awful messaging in the past.
Oh,
And,
I'm
and
actually going to get to that guy in just a little bit. The
hmm,
incumbent. The incumbent.
yeah, the incumbent. So, but this guy who's running against him now on the national level, he part of it was aimed at that guy, but I'm not gonna say his name because he's a good
No, I'm actually
guy.
I know I won't touch on that because I'm not. But to the treasurer, real quick, I voted for him for
Yeah.
U.S. Senate in 2018
Mm-hmm.
enthusiastically. I was told by the chair candidate Brandon, who he's not really establishment, from my understanding.
Chair
But
for Nevada LP.
yeah, he's running for
Yeah.
chair for Nevada LP as a pragmatist. He's not really part of the establishment because, from what I heard, they don't really know him that well.
Nice. Yeah.
And from my understanding, that they're probably going to endorse him if they haven't already, just because they can't find anybody else to
Mm-hmm.
do it.
Well, so the thing is
Dave,
the
sorry,
sorry. Go ahead.
let me finish, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And this is gonna sound really petty, and I realize that. So he told me, he's like, hey, Tim has been a great treasurer. He's also a treasurer of the LNC. So and because treasurer is a very specific, like, it requires very specific skills that I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely don't have yet.
Yeah.
Like, I would never run for treasurer of any affiliate. So that being said, so I was like, all right, I send my friend request on Facebook, and 30 minutes later, his name pops up again. I'm like, damn, he could not click deny fast enough.
Hmm.
So I thought, okay, maybe he just doesn't add people he's not close with. So maybe he's like, okay, message me and be like, hey man, like, I'll message you. You can follow me if you want, or follow my like campaign page, which I have done. But none of that. So I was like, okay, well, I guess the treasurer of the Nevada State Party, who's also the treasurer of the LNC, does not wish to have dialogue with me.
Mhm.
So, like, so my general like line for voting and is going to be Unity on top, and then Mises second, and then at the bottom establishment.
Mhm.
Now I was willing to just make an exception for treasurer. However, because of that lack of desire for dialogue, if the Mises candidate pushes a really qualified candidate for treasurer for Nevada LP, I will vote that way.
Yeah.
Or maybe if there's a Unity person who wants to come into the ticket, wants to join our ticket. Like right now, it's just a vice chair and secretarial candidates.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Which is
okay.
great. Like
So
that's a bigger ticket than we had in Oklahoma.
yeah,
We just had chair.
I mean, hey, he actually messaged me the other day and said, hey, you would go on my go on his show next week. So I'm hoping that actually happens.
Nice.
I'd love to talk to him.
Ironically also includes the person that we were just talking about. So yeah, I definitely I'm not a fan of the incumbent there. I actually will be supporting Todd Hagopian for national treasurer. National treasure. That's funny. I'm gonna make sure that there's some like Todd Hagopian, Nicolas Cage memes out there from like national treasurer.
and
That needs to be a thing. Somebody that's watching this, go make that meme.
and and so before the that fucking tweet last night, like there was like a 3-hour window where I had hope. So I posted in the county LP group that I was starting an LP chapter, that I found the minimal number of interested students, and so by August I'll start taking the steps to support. And everyone, both from the establishment and Mises, showed excitement, like genuine excitement, like everybody's happy about it. So I thought, wow, this is great. We can actually work together on a campus LP. And I'm also gonna advertise some community service stuff the next 2 weeks as well, and also beyond the convention.
Mm-hmm.
So I was super excited. And then I saw that tweet from the state LP, and I thought, you make this way too easy.
Yeah.
You make this way too easy. So, and I've communicated with the Mises candidate in my race. I don't think they've revealed the slate yet, so I'm gonna leave the name private out of respect. So we communicated, and we both came to an agreement that if one of us gets third in the first round of voting and there's no majority reached by any candidate, then we would endorse the other one.
Yeah,
So
I would probably be in that same boat if I were you.
So my ultimatum for the establishment and people who are just afraid of Mises is this: you can either tell me to fuck off, vote for your candidate who's not going to win. I get third. I endorse Mises. Mises just cleans house.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it. Like, I mean, I'll be devastated about losing. Don't get me wrong, but at least like after the few days just being really down, there'll be a functioning fucking party to go back to.
Yeah. Well, I want to shout out Griffin again because he's in the comments with some good stuff. Unifying the party is more important than identifying as one caucus or another, which is super accurate. And a follow up to this comment: it's not about caucuses, my dude. Liberty Unity includes all aspects of the LP and filters it down to the best ideas. Check us out. Definitely, if you guys are on Twitter, search the hashtag Liberty Unity, or follow me or Griffin or Reed Coverdale or Jeremy Todd or Jesse James Welsh or Kevin Hobby, like any of these guys. Follow them and check us out because we really are trying to put an end to this bullshit. Like the caucus, the thing is, if you watched any of my episode earlier, the problem is that so many of these people were so caught up in the duopoly, they were so brainwashed into this divide and conquer mentality that they forgot that they escaped it into the LP. Like we all ran away into the LP, and then we stayed in our camps, in our right versus left, in our us versus them. It's so fucking stupid. So get the fuck out of those dumbass mindsets. Join the Liberty Unity movement. Join all of the caucuses or none of the caucuses. I don't give a fuck. But really just join whoever's doing stuff in your area. You know, in New York, Mises isn't doing shit, and me as the state coordinator of the Prags also really isn't doing shit. But we're doing a little bit more than anybody else is in the state because the state is a joke. You know, so it depends on where you are. Join whatever group deserves to be joined. Don't join because of some national messenger.
And so back to what I was saying, like
Yeah.
my ultimatum, like at this point, it's not even like stopping the Mises takeover; it's mitigation for a single race from their point of view.
Right.
Because I'm still like where there's no unity candidate, I'm still going to support the Mises candidate.
Yeah.
Like treasurer, like on condition that they're actually qualified and have experience in finance. Which I'm sure they're going to find somebody who's really good. I have no doubt about that. But
I don't know if Mises has a record of state treasurers. And
what's up?
I'm joking. I said they have a record of their state treasurers candidates being unqualified. But that was a joke just to what happened in New Hampshire.
Oh my god. Yeah, unqualified per the bylaws, but like not unqualified per like financial credentials. But Nevada's a little more relaxed. Like you can pay dues and register the same day of the convention and be able to run and vote and everything.
Nice.
So, also like fun fact for the county convention, the $60 dues I paid for the state party, I barely had, and actually fucked me financially for the rest of the month.
Well,
so you know, I wouldn't risk myself financially just to, you know, unless there's a very real reason to do it. Like I wouldn't do it just to like help a caucus or, you know, to stop another caucus. It'd be like, hey, I'm actually trying to do something good here.
Right. Like why would I don't understand how people could think that you and me are who they think we are. Like I couldn't imagine being that pathetic of a person. Like being someone who would just exist to try to like placate my political opponents. Like that's what people think we are. They think like the unity movement is just a shield to draw attention away from the Mises caucus. They think that we're literally actively running against people just to like make their lives easier. I don't even understand the logic that goes into that.
Hey, just heads up, my battery, even though it's charging, it's down to 4%. So if it dies, I'm gonna quickly log in my laptop and sound like helium again. But I'm gonna try to see if it comes out of real quick. Okay. So I'm gonna touch on like what I want to do as vice chair real quick.
Yes, please.
Okay, 5%. Okay. As vice chair, like I want to reach out to other liberty-minded groups like Americans for Prosperity, Nevada Policy Research Institute, Young Americans for Liberty, Students for Liberty, Conservative Veterans of America, you know, like, and People for Liberty, like all these groups out there that the Nevada LP has just been like this isolated bubble, and you know, we should be working together. Like specifically on like, you know, COVID policies, like the anti-war movement, you know, which kind of like touch both of those touch up on me personally, which I'll get into in a little bit. You know, it's so fucking frustrating. And
politics is a frustrating game. Are you sure you want to be a state vice chair?
I have to.
I like that. I like that answer. Like, I feel that. Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather hang out with my friends and chill and, you know, drink, you know, party, you know, feel like I'm in my 20s again for one more year before I go into the real world. Oh shit, 3%. Okay. Yeah, if my battery dies, I'm just gonna quickly log into my laptop and do that.
Yeah, if your battery dies, we'll play an ad and spitball. Because we got this shit. It's the Liberty Movement. Technical difficulties happen.
For sure. Okay. I also want to, reinvigorate the anti-war movement. Speak out against, all these draconian measures, like the COVID issues, the war on drugs,
Mm-hmm.
like civil liberties, like the Second Amendment. Our corrupt as fuck criminal justice system, like all this shit. Like there's so many fucked up things. Like why the fuck are we fighting each other when we should be fighting the fucking statists? For fuck's sake.
Amen.
But like Dave, we've been in Afghanistan for 20 fucking years on September 11th, on the day when Biden is not going to bring us back. We'll have hit 20 years. We've been in Iraq for 18 years. Like we've been bombing God knows how many fucking countries. Like
a lot.
Like how is it that the anti-war movement is not at least as big as Vietnam's at this point? Like it's been so fucking long.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get it's all voluntary force, and also like.
I can answer that question for you in like 3 easy steps. A, you touched on one. It's voluntary. B, no one's there's like literally no reporting on it, no footage of it, no news about it. No one's fucking talking about it, unlike during Vietnam. And 3, everyone that runs for office on the platform that they are going to bring our troops home. These people don't follow up on campaign promises. The divide and conquer mentality has given them the okay to be able to constantly say, I'll bring him home, but the other side won't let me. And then the other side says the exact same thing. Yeah. And it is just a circle jerk of bullshit. So it's actually really easy, unfortunately, to explain away why the anti-war movement is a joke right now.
I mean, shit, Tulsi got 2% of the support in the fucking primary last year.
Right.
But no. And in COVID, like, you remember my dad passed away in the last week of OWD?
Yeah.
Like I tried to hide like how hard it was hitting me. Like I didn't even take a day off. Like, yeah, like I stopped an hour early, that day, but like I worked full days the rest of the fucking campaign. Granted, it was like that's the week, but I should have gone home or to Pennsylvania to for his funeral, but I couldn't because of the fucking COVID regulations.
Yeah, a normal person.
Yeah,
doing life normally.
And furthermore, like my last interaction with him, I just turned 20 and it was not good. Like the way I should have handled things, like it was different from how I was told to handle things. So I basically there's things I'm gonna regret for the rest of my life because of that. And I can't even see him. I couldn't even see him off at his funeral because of the fucking COVID rules set forth by the fucking Pennsylvania government. So yeah, no, I have a personal fucking I have a personal stake in this, all this shit. Yeah, no. So of course I want to fucking run. Are you fucking kidding me? Like
I love it. I love
that. I don't give a fuck if you're with the Mises Caucus. I don't give a fuck if you're the Pragmatist Caucus. Shit, the only caucus I'm part of is the Wood Chipper Caucus, so please join that.
Woo woo. Yeah. Wood chippers.
Feet first.
Wood chipper go brrr.
Feet first, man. Feet first.
Feet first. Feet first for the pedos.
Is there really going to be
if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go on to Twitter and look up the LP Wood Chipper Caucus. It's actually it's kind of a joke, but it's also not. There really is a group of people in the Liberty Movement working to end sex trafficking and really make it a thing that we're paying attention to. And there's a significantly serious thing behind it of like preparation for when shit goes south. A lot of people's biggest worry is like, oh, if we have anarchy, there's just going to be rapists everywhere. Well, that's what the wood chipper caucus is for, because we will be driving around with wood chippers, grinding up pedos to make sure that that's not a thing that you guys have to worry about after the dollar collapses and we descend into anarchy in 2032.
All right. So, Dave, most important question of this podcast:
Okay, go.
Is there really going to be a wood chipper at the LNC convention next year?
In Reno?
Yes.
Fuck yes, there will be.
Yes. All right. Okay. Good show. Good talk. I will see you later. Okay. So I mean,
yes,
like,
there definitely will be.
awesome. I mean, my reasons of running are, it's deeper than just, the fucking state party, or any one policy. It's multiple policies. It's, if we don't all come together, like this cycle of war, this cycle of just the government being able to do whatever the fuck they want to us, police killing unarmed innocent people, like it's not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
So in Nevada, like, if we're going to pass these policies, good policies, stop bad policies, like, we have to come together as a movement. And that's why I would love to have a debate with my opponents, about this.
Mm.
You, you,
Is there not going to be one at the convention?
do they normally have debates at the convention?
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the county convention there wasn't any. I mean, everyone gave their presentations and then everyone
Well,
just
that's
voted.
gay.
Yeah, there was no Q&A. There wasn't even Q&A. It was just everyone speaks and everyone votes.
Huh.
So if there's gonna be a debate, I mean, if state conventions are different, that'd be awesome. I'd love for there to be a debate.
I will
But
make a motion for a debate as an honorary. Just kidding.
nice.
I don't. I'm not 100% sure that I'll be able to make it there. I will not be able to vote if I do. But I would
Well,
very much love to make it
I
there.
mean, you have to be a resident in Nevada. You have to be registered to vote in Nevada as a libertarian in order to vote.
Right.
Which makes sense.
I'm not. Well, I am an enrolled libertarian, but in the state of New York.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, but if you can't make it to Nevada, like, it's still gonna be on Zoom.
That's true.
I mean,
I will.
I mean, but like, with my frustrations of the establishment aside, and like, and you've seen like the clips and snapshots of all of that.
Yeah.
But also, like, going back to the initial smear about me, the person who made the initial smear, to their credit, they did apologize to me.
That is something that, yes, that's important.
And I do appreciate that. So, but I do want to have dialogue with the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, my demand to be unwavering, yes, and yes, I'm going to run. I'm going to go through with it, absolutely, and I, under no circumstances, will endorse the establishment candidate for probably any race.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly not vice chair. And it's not that I don't like you. It's not that I don't. I think some of the candidates would probably be good. It's just that, like, you're so, like, you're at a point where if you're not speaking out against what the current establishment is doing, like, as far as I'm concerned, you're part of it.
Right. I'm not a fan of guilty by association, but if you hold a position in leadership, that's like the one time where it's actually a thing and where it's okay. It is it if you are vice chair, it is your job to stop your chair from being terrible. Like, that's kind of your job.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really. No, I can see one jackass just posting this or something, but, like, it's the party Twitter that posted this.
Right. That is so if that like happened in New York, they would be removed from office like immediately.
And our convention's coming up. I mean, and I don't know what's going on from the establishment point of view, although I sense desperation. Um, but from the Mises point of view, like I will tell you, they're organized, they're confident, and they are fucking motivated, and they're getting new
Mm-hmm.
people every day. And
They
they're gonna be
are.
going there like they fucking want this, and so will I.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, and every one of them that gets elected, they're going to earn their fucking office.
Yes. That's important to know.
And so, but I did notice that the executive director of the Pragmatists lives in Nevada.
Alex. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
He's a wonderful human.
I've heard that from you.
Even I've heard that from like a bunch of Mises. I heard that from Karen Ann Harlow too. She said that when she came on my show. She
Really?
said that Alex is great. Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
I'd like to meet him before the convention. I'd like to like grab lunch with him or something, or a beer or anything, you know.
yeah. I'm not gonna speak for him. I don't know what he's up to. I know he's probably pretty busy going into. That's what I love about Alex. So Alex doesn't participate in the social media bullshit at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
He doesn't have Twitter. He
once
literally does not even have Twitter. He only operates on Facebook.
yeah, and like once if I get elected, even like after the convention, regardless, like I'm gonna stop too. Like I'm gonna go back to posting Mario Kart clips every day.
Yeah.
Like I'll post some Liberty stuff, sure, but
No,
I'm
we
not
need you
trying
to
to like.
post Liberty stuff 24/7, 365, exclusively Liberty.
Okay,
Otherwise, you're not a real libertarian.
hey, I've lost 2 elections in the last 6 months. I'm definitely a real libertarian.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
hell, I'm running as a third party candidate within a third party. If that's not libertarian, I don't know what the fuck is.
Amen. Cheers to that. Just the very idea of you being a third party candidate in a third party election is pretty beautiful
So,
because the Mises Caucus is dumb. The the like establishment that's there is dumb. The other like mini caucuses are kind of dumb. Just like so, I think you're not a third party. You're an independent, which is better.
hey man, hey, the wood chippers are third parties, all right? As far as I'm
Well, I
concerned.
mean, yeah, I guess if you want to call yourself a wood chipper, but like you're an independent, and I think that's important to note.
Hell, like, and just to show like I want to work with everyone. Like, if I get elected, like I would join both major caucuses.
I'd like Karen Ann Harlos has said that she doesn't believe that people on executive committees should be members of caucuses, and I am actually a big fan of that.
I mean, no, like in general, you're absolutely right. However, just with how divided Nevada in particular is,
Hmm.
like I really feel like if one side just dominates this convention, like the other side would just they would just a lot of them would just up and leave. And you know, if me joining, you know, if me joining something could mitigate that and kind of keep the party together, like I'd be willing to do that. And
Yeah,
because
I mean,
because
I'm all
because
for joining all of them.
what's up?
I said I'm all for joining all of them. I am a member of the Pragmatist Caucus and the Woodchipper Caucus, as well as the Carnegie Caucus. But I am a big fan of people being a member of many, if not all, or none. Like Reed is a member of none, and I'm dope. I'm down for that plan too.
I mean, I joined the Libertarians for Peace Facebook group because like their focus is anti-war, which is my number one issue.
Mm.
So like you know like I wouldn't see an issue of an XCOM member joining like a single issue caucus like that.
Yeah.
And also all the meme caucuses too are awesome. Probably my Yale VP Kevin, he joined. I forgot the name of it, but it's basically a shit posting meme caucus.
But there's like 87 of those. So
Oh well, And I was actually joking with him today. I was gonna nominate him for chair, like give him a floor nomination at the convention.
Hmm.
And he would just go up there and say, "Look, man, I'm not, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. If I'm elected, I'm just gonna post memes on social media."
Well, I mean, it would be better than the people that are there right now.
And yes, that would be thrown in there too. And then I was just joking with him. I'd be like, "What if you win? Like, how fucking funny would that be?"
I mean, in the Libertarian Party, that is definitely a possibility.
I mean, he would hate me so much if he won, though.
Mhm.
Like he doesn't want to run for anything. Like he just like he's a perfect kind. He's super smart, but he's not trying to take charge of anything.
Yeah.
He's a great guy though. Like Kevin, if you're watching this, I love you, man.
Mhm. You do have some fans in the comments, namely one Chris Cunningham, who is apparently very excited to come to the state convention and vote for you and work with you. So you've got some fans, bro.
Oh yeah, well he's the owner of my Mario Kart team, so I'd hope he'd be supporting me.
Dope. Dope. This is what we need. We need the nerd culture to overlap with the libertarian culture better. I was talking to Justin O'Donnell about this a while back. He's a big Magic the Gathering player.
I mean, I've been doing it. I got 3 people at a Mario Kart tournament last Saturday. Like I convinced the three Ron Paul Republicans to change registration to Libertarian and vote for me at the convention.
Woo! There we
Within
go.
Within like an hour. So
Nice.
you know,
Man, I need my boy Emmanuel from the Fix for New York. He's got one of those things.
yeah, and
I need that right now.
you know, and they're a little hesitant on the LP because you know the Nevada LP has not done a good job winning people over. But I told him, I was like, look, man, register, give me till the end of the year, you know, get me elected, and if you're not satisfied with the job I'm doing as vice chair and where the party's going, then change back.
Yeah.
Or if they fail, or if the people you mentioned fail to elect good candidates and the people who do get elected do a poor job, then change back.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen what the GOP has to offer.
Yeah, it's shit.
Try something else.
I mean, unless you're in Thomas Massey's district, the GOP is shit.
Which I might actually be moving to, ironically enough. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But with all that being said, though, like I like the pragmatist approach of like building candidates up from like you know really small offices, you know, and just and making it known every time they win an election, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem. But Nevada's not even doing that,
right?
And that's something I want to start doing. Like literally, one of my platform points as someone who people believe to be Mises, it's part of what the pragmatists want to do. Like we should be encouraging people to run for local offices. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, run a presidential candidate, run a senatorial candidate, run a gubernatorial candidate, run for Congress. You know, I want to see more state representative races. I want to see local races. Like, I want to see us run in like rural counties because there's a fucking lot of in Nevada.
Yeah.
Like, plenty of races where people just want to be left alone, or a libertarian can absolutely fucking win, but nobody is willing to like encourage it or do it. Like, or believe in LP enough to give it a shot. Like in a town of 5,000 people, you don't think someone who's well known in the community can run as a libertarian and win? Of course they fucking can. It happens all over the goddamn country and like here and there.
Right.
Why not do it in Nevada? Why the fuck not?
Yes. Why? Why is there a not? What do you mean? Let's do it. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
No, why not? Let's just do it.
Fucking exactly. You know, elect me as vice chair and have that voice in there. You know, so while say for example, if it's me, you know, Zaina secretary, and then even 5 Mises people, if they're all focusing more on their bold messaging, which I think is fucking great, even if they may overshoot sometimes. You know, like fuck it, I'll be that voice in the room who just says like, hey, candidates here, candidates there. You know, like fuck it, let's just. And they're with me on that too. Like I talked to a lot of those guys at the these meetups. You know, we should be doing that. We should be encouraging people to run for smaller offices. And it's unfortunate, like hell, we live in Las Vegas, so it's gonna be a lot harder here. But you know, because I live in a city, a great fucking city at that, but still a city.
I mean, I definitely understand the struggle that is
City.
big city politics.
But any state in the union should be pushing libertarian candidates down everyone's throats. It's fucking Nevada.
Yeah, y'all have prostitution.
Yeah, like outside of Clark County and like maybe like Carson City in Reno, maybe like it's essentially the Wild West. Not like the old time Wild West, but like it's desert. You know, it's rural.
Mhm.
It's like people are more like people are like infected by big city life, and they want to be left alone by government. They want they want to live their own lives by their own values as long as it doesn't violate the NAP.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if you live in rural Nevada and you want to tell me to go fuck myself because Democrats are better, then okay, well then I'll admit I'm wrong then.
I mean, yeah, I don't see that happening. Yeah, we need to message where we can to the people that we can when we can. Like it just makes sense. In New York, people always talk about should we go left or right because upstate wants to go right and downstate wants to go left, and the idea that one centralized group of people has to make that decision is the most unlibertarian dumbassery I've ever heard.
Oh, Dave, I just saw the comments. I just learned how to like open them.
Oh, nice.
And yes, Daniel, like that's fucking awesome. Mises being anti-war, fuck yeah. Like I'm like I said, I've interacted with the Nevada Mises people, at least the ones in Vegas, like a couple of times, and I think they're great fucking people.
Yeah, oh, sorry, was taking a hit of my pen. The Mises Caucus definitely prioritizes being anti-war pretty high above a lot of other things. I personally, and that's honestly why I'm not haven't actually joined up, is because they're like big issues aren't really necessarily my big issues.
And that's completely fair.
Yeah, because their three big issues are end the war, end the Fed, and I guess end the war on drugs. So that one is a big matchup for me. Like that's really my biggest one. Like for me, it's guns and drugs, and then just like the general like first,
Yeah,
like just human rights in general. Like I'm
yeah.
more of a social.
Oh shit, Tommy, what's up, bro?
Yeah. Also, the lockdowns. That's a pretty big issue for me because lockdowns are different than anything that's mandated is dumb, and the fact that we're not pushing back against government mandates of any kind is dumb. I should I rant? I'm gonna rant for just a quick second here. We have let our basic human rights go un like heard of in for way too long. We had these lockdowns. This wasn't like something new or crazy though. Everyone wants to be mad about the lockdowns, but really we set the precedent for them a dozen times over. No one's talking about the fact that we just locked up every like somewhat Japanese looking person during the Second World War and just threw them all into a camp. No one's really talking about that. No one's talking about the fact that we've had our Second Amendment rights stripped like 87 different times. No one's talking about the fact that people are in jail for Facebook posts. Nobody's talking about any of that shit. We want to be mad about the lockdowns, but we set a precedent for that over the last 2 decades of needing the government doing anything everywhere. Whenever something goes even slightly wrong, we just like lick boots.
So now it's time to start fighting back. And
fuck yeah.
And you're not gonna be able to do that through the Dems or Republicans, unfortunately. in the LP in Nevada, if you want to do that, then start fighting back and shit. Start by electing me as vice chair. Elect union candidates. Where you can, and where there's no union person running, vote for the Macy's person. And if the union candidate loses in the first round of voting, and there's a round two, then go to Macy's. They're also great.
Or the Prags, unless you're talking about Nevada.
I'm
Yeah,
clear,
specifically talking about Nevada. Yes.
Yeah. I'm talking only about Nevada. I don't know what's going on in your state. I know some tidbits of stuff I read on Twitter. I pay attention to some conventions because to see how the momentum is going to be leading up to mine. But beyond like what Dave tells me about New York, I don't know shit about his state. I don't know shit about your state any more than you know about mine.
Right. Stay out of it if you're not like a member of that state's party, honestly, is my opinion.
And if you're not like part of the LNC or running for an LNC position and you're not in the state, then like your opinion is not going to be any more valid than my opinion would about your state. Like if I was to tell Dave, like, hey man, like New York sucks, man. I mean, kind of does.
I mean, New York does suck.
Dude, come to Nevada, man. Like, fuck New York.
Maybe. Honestly, yeah. You want to talk about what happens when the establishment in a party sucks. So you want to run for a position in your state party. I'll tell you how that ends. As from experience. So Sunday, I had to sit through a New York State committee meeting, right? And so New York State, because we now meet online, because we can't meet in person because we're still all in lockdown, we have been using a software to vote and do our stuff on the state committee because we're doing it through Zoom. And the state chair wants to make it to where nobody can tell who's voting what during all of these votes. That if it were in person would be like standing votes where people would literally have to stand up to vote aye and stand up to vote nay, so that everyone in the room would be able to see who's voting. These are main motions on the state committee being voted on by elected officials. So this is an important thing, right? This would be like Congress like us not knowing who voted yes or no on bills in Congress, right?
No, I heard that during your previous during your rant earlier. Like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah. So that is that. So you want to talk about like how even the caucuses, that is the Macy's backed state chair of New York.
Well, if I was in New York, then maybe I would based on knowing you and what you're telling me, then maybe I wouldn't side with Macy's in New York. Maybe I would side with the pragmatists.
Well, I mean, the pragmatist-backed candidate was also not great. I actually didn't vote for that in that race. I lost to Noda, and then left the convention because it was virtual.
Well, then
I just left.
Well, then in that case, I would just leave New York, which I already did.
I mean, there you go.
Like, I'm sorry, like, Mom, if you're watching this, I love you, but like, no, I'm not coming back. I'm sorry.
Don't blame you.
Oh my God.
Don't blame you at all.
I mean, but yeah, like anything I say about a caucus, whatever, like it's only specific to Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And and the Mises people here, like they're great fucking people. Like they're pissed off that the party's not doing shit. And even the people in the establishment I've met, like they're also nice people. Like they're good human beings. I just don't believe that they're the right people to be holding positions of leadership within the state party.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone. Like, really, like this shit is not for everyone.
And there was absolutely no shame in that.
No.
And sometimes, and maybe once upon a time, and people burn out. Like that's a very real thing too.
Yeah, take a break.
And
Take
like,
a mental health break.
and I'm extremely sympathetic towards that.
Yeah.
It's just this convention, though, like we're at a critical point right now where how this convention goes, like it could. We're at a crossroads. Like Nevada is like, it's one of the most watched. From what I heard, it's gonna be one of the most like looked at state conventions this year.
Yes,
And
because of all those stupid fucking tweets.
yeah, and like if we like an XCOM who's gonna reach out to other liberty groups, that's great. We can set a precedent for the movement throughout the country. But if we don't, and the party stays the way it is now, then we're fucked. And then it's gonna be on someone else to do that, and hopefully, start what I'm hoping to start here.
Yeah.
And it's just.
I mean, so here's how you, what I heard from Kevin Hobby that I really love, and also from Max Longhorn, who we didn't shout out earlier, but we need to shout out here because he's an amazing human being. They both were talking about how, regardless of who wins, they will be doing what they're gonna do. Like, it doesn't matter who was chair, they would both be doing their intended goals as chair. So neither of them really needed to win. They were still going to be advancing liberty regardless. And that's what I'm kind of hearing from you. That's what I want to hear from everyone, because whether or not you have a seat is meaningless. It's whether or not
Dave,
you have a plan to use.
Oh, hey Dave, sorry, I'll be right back.
Yeah. I think we're having some technicality difficulties. So in the meantime, we are going to play a little word from our sponsors over at the Naturalist Capitalist, Mr. Reed Coverdale, who's got some great words from some great guests. So enjoy this, and we'll be back in a jiffy.
I think it says so much that the concern about anarchism is that it could devolve back into something like government, right? Like, oh no, we can't have freedom because we might end up with the system we have now.
We have been waiting for the Hail Mary pitch of the national media just deciding to give us a bunch of attention and let us on the debate stage, and then we get to catapult to the White House. It's not going to happen.
And we say things like, what all Americans want is freedom. That's not true. We made that up. That's absolutely not true.
We need to agree on this one thing, and we need to go in there and hand these politicians their asses and say, you're done, we're in, and we're dismantling this money system, and we're going to bring the government back to the American people. And then once we give it back to the American people, guess what? The American people are going to decide what kind of society they want to live in.
Because the left started World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and Vietnam. Those are all started by Democrats. Vietnam is only because they didn't want to go, because there was a draft.
You're Luke Skywalker, man. Tell me something important. Teach me something that matters that I don't know, or show me you're leading somebody else. And especially, I'm sorry, but
okay, I'm back.
We're the Empire killing the Sand People here and shit. This is so obvious, Luke.
They tried to get people canceled back then. They got some people canceled, but it was mostly politicians. It was mostly people in power. And when you play a power game, when you decide you're going to be a Machiavellian, I mean, you expect to get your throat slit at some point, metaphorically. And so no, this is completely different. This is going after regular people.
As long as people look at other people as people, and we can remember and think about our humanity and our individualism, then I think that people are inherently good. And I think it takes outside forces to otherize people.
Like, why are we here? Why are we here? Because we care about these real issues, because these are real human beings who are suffering, whose lives are being ruined. Let's try to come together and brush some of this stuff off and deal with these really important issues. Because all this other stuff is like symptoms. It's symptoms of the central problem. And unless you solve the central problem, then we'll be fighting over Mr. Potato Head forever.
All right, guys, go follow Mr. Reed Coverdale if you don't already, because he's a great guy. All those wonderful clips and some super amazing guests that he has had. So, Jesse, I'm really excited to see what you're gonna do in Nevada.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be but it's not gonna be easy though. Like one, I'll have to get a lot more people to come. I mean, everyone who's like, and nothing for sure until at the convention voting for you, and only 11 confirmed with 17 days out. It's not a great number. Like it's good, but like if I I think I'll at least have enough people to make a difference between the Mises guys and the establishment people. At that point, like as long as my group is bigger than the difference between the two bigger groups or the two other groups, like I'll have leverage.
Yeah.
I'm still good, and there's still going to be a lot of groups of people that I'm still going to reach out to. There's still a lot of veterans group I'm still going to talk to, like most of whom are like more anti-war, bring troops home types. So so there's still a lot of potential that I have to do, and I'm still hoping. And I'm gonna post my podcast wish list like tonight or tomorrow of who I want to who I hope to go on before May 1st, because like this message has to spread.
Yeah,
and like me winning, like I don't know if our union ticket is gonna grow, but if it's just me and Zaina, then it's only two people. It's still better than 0 or 1, but it is extremely important for the sake of the movement that we managed to get in.
Yes.
And to send a message, because just so we can stop with all this petty infighting. You know, we have people who, you know, we've been in war for 20 fucking years, for fuck's sakes, and we have countless people in jail for nonviolent drug offenses. We have people who, like you said, people are going to jail over Facebook posts. You know, people aren't allowed to go to church. People aren't allowed to just do anything, and it's fucking ridiculous. And you know, libertarians need to start fighting back instead of fighting each other all the fucking time.
Amen. Hey, fucking man. Well, Jesse, tell people where they can find you and how they can support your campaign, and how they can get involved in the Nevada party.
Okay. Well, if you're not in Nevada, follow me at Jesse James Welsh. It's on the screen there. Give me a follow. I'll give you a follow back, because I am very weird about having the exact same number of followers as people who are following me, or as people I'm following.
You are weird.
Fuck you. You know, just like engage with me on my posts. You know, just saying, you know, I'll engage with you. I'll try my best to. And if you are in Nevada, you know, hit me up. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back, and I will send you a link to the state party website and kind of walk you through the registration process. And I'll also invite you to, like, I know there's gonna be a meetup group Friday. I'm not gonna be able to make it because I have other commitments, unfortunately. But I'm gonna be telling my friends to go to this meetup group, and they'll interact with some of the mostly Mises guys. I'm pretty sure everyone in the county is gonna be invited, like especially the executive committee, so you get a chance to talk to different people. You know, you see, everyone is, based on the last two meetings, and they've gotten bigger every time the Nevada LP posts something stupid. like their first dumb post they posted a few weeks ago, 2 people came to the meetup because of that. Who decided, you know, I'm gonna start at Mises. Cool. I mean, you know, and if you have any concerns about my candidacy, if you think I'm too inexperienced, if you think, you know, my platform sucks, if you have an issue with me being vice chair, run it by me. Let's hash it out. Because if I wasn't doing this for the right reasons, you know, I wouldn't be on your fucking show right now. I have better things to do, like not better things to do, but like I have things that'll actually be better for my mental health than fucking politics right now.
So many things. Yeah, and if you weren't doing it for the right reasons, I wouldn't be vouching for you and having you on my show. So, Jesse, I'm really glad that you're getting involved in the party. It actually, like, it makes me really happy to see that somebody that I worked with that was hesitant in the party, hesitant from joining, doesn't believe in the party, is now running for a statewide office within the party and wants to, like, build it. Like, that's that makes me have a lot of faith for like the party, the movement, the country, like literally everything. So I'm thank you for doing what you're doing and what you're gonna do for Nevada and for the LP.
Thank you. And you know, I'm trying to think of like a closing statement, but it's kind of difficult. You know, it's just we're at a crossroads right now, and like right now, this election, like I'm putting everything into it, and it's because it's that important. And like if you know, I bring like a unique opinion on stuff. Like I'm not like unique. You know, you can look up oh, sorry, I just got a message from I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
You're good.
I'm choking at the worst at the last minute. No. Okay. So it's super important, and I bring a unique energy that out of anyone in the LP, only Dave has seen, and Dave can vouch for me. And I just, if you know me, then just talk with me, and if you like what I'm about, then support me. If you don't like what I'm about, tell me why. And don't give me some bullshit like, oh, you're a Mises guy or whatever. Like, no, if I was a Mises guy, I'd be running.
You're a Nazi, Jesse.
No,
why are you such a Nazi, Jesse?
If I was running a Mises slate, this election would be so much easier.
Right, your life would be so much fucking easier as a Mises caucus.
Yeah, it'd be like, all right, let's gather people, but instead, it's so much harder, and I have to act, and you know, I have to campaign as if I'm trying to bring in half the voters myself. And that's hard. That's really hard because right now, almost 50 people already RSVP to the state convention.
That's awesome.
It's huge. That's a lot of people. Because I gotta do a lot more work.
Yeah.
And I'm prepared. I'm more than prepared to do that. It's just that, you know.
Yeah.
I love the Mario Kart reference there, Tommy. Thank you.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
And
Tom up in the comments with the puns.
It's just that I have to, you know, if I'm gonna push the same message no matter what happens, but if I'm vice chair, my reach is gonna extend so much further. Like for example, as president of Yale UNLV, I want to stage an anti-war protest at the end of the fall semester. If I'm vice chair of the LP, that makes my voice of influence so much wider. It's so many more people I can potentially reach out to. And then why go to the current leadership? Why go to the new leader if it's not me? When I can just cut the middleman and become a leader myself. Why rely on someone else to do what I want to see get done, what I think needs to be done for the party when I can do it myself?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
fuck yeah. Well, Jesse, I'm excited to see it happen. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Yeah, and guys, thank you so much for watching. We have had a wonderful, wonderful evening here on the Fight for Liberty show. If you are not yet doing so, subscribe to the channel. That is down over there, down over here. So go do that. There's also a link tree there. Go click on all of those. Go support the channel. And then I already said it in the beginning. Yeah, I sold out. Deal with it. Go to nugofknowledge.com and check out everything that is there and use promo code UNITE because that's what we're doing here tonight, right? We are uniting. Fuck the caucus bullshit. Fuck the left versus right. Fuck the parties. Fuck it all. Fuck politics for the night. Just smoke one for me. And use promo code UNITE to get 10% off of everything at nugofknowledge.com. We will be back here next time. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, keep up